All right, good morning. My name is Robert Ashby, Planning Section Chief Trainee with California Incident Management Team 5. This is our operational briefing for October 8th. A few items to remember: if you could please wear your face masks while you're at the briefing. Also, for those out in the camp, please stand on an orange dot for social distancing. Please silence your cell phones and your radios and keep any side conversations to a minimum. Currently, the fire is at 330,899 acres and is 49% contained. And with the rest of the situational update, Don Fraguglia.
All right. Good morning, everybody. So for the operational update from last night from night shift, just had a good conversation with those guys. We'll start up here in the north. The area around Vermilion Valley, that all held last night. They did still looking to get fire around the PAC station, so we still have one more building, set of buildings up on the north and west end of the lake there, where we got to get some fire around those buildings today if the fire pushes us. If not, that will still be there. But otherwise, looks good out there at Edison Lake. We had a good night. Night shift did get a spot fire just here by north of Mono Hot Springs. They picked it up at about an acre last night, and so that was a good stroke. Down here around Florence, it was quiet last night. No defensive firing had to occur. That fire continues to march towards the values at risk there at Florence. So we had some bad intel yesterday. It has not quite got to Florence just yet. But we expect that here in the coming day or two. Along the Kaiser Pass Road was a quiet night, and out in Division Papa, no calls for service down around the south end of the fire. With that, have a good day.
Next, we have weather with John Pendergast.
Good morning, John Pendergast, incident meteorologist. As meteorologists, we have to think in 4 dimensions. We have to think about a 3-dimensional atmosphere, and then we also have to think about time. So I'm going to have you think a little bit about 3 dimensions today. And the one notable thing that's going to help us as far as the conditions out there is quite a lot of high clouds are streaming into the region from the Pacific. It's the densest layer of high clouds that I've seen since I've been here, probably at least the last couple of weeks. So that's good news, because you couple that with the reduced temperatures and the higher humidity out there that we're starting out with. It's a good thing as we lead forward to the rest of the day. Now, just because we have dry air at the lower levels, especially where the fire's at, and then down even in the valleys, we're going to have a period of time this afternoon, despite the fact we have the high clouds, there is a period of time where we're going to have humidities edging down to around 20%. So certainly more conducive for any growth if there's any new areas that crop up. Upslope winds are going to develop during the course of the day, and combine that with about 5 to 10 miles an hour of upslope. Higher gusts along the ridges up to about 15 by mid-afternoon. So out there, just factor all that in and have a safe day. Thanks.
Fire behavior with Jeff Shelton.
Good morning, Jeff Shelton, Team 5 Fire Behavior. So the fire environment's going to be cooler, dry, and smoky today. With the higher RH and the temperatures trending slowly down over the last couple days, the energy in the fire is slowly being drained out, ever so slowly. The first part we're going to see where that energy is going to start to get sapped out is in the fine fuels. With RH recoveries around in the 30s, that kind of makes them unavailable to carry fire, especially if you're trying to do some firing. The heavy materials, the larger fuels, especially the dead and down, they're still passing that energy along like a baton, log to log, and they will do that until we get rain or snow moving forward. For spotting today, the math says 90% is the unshaded, 60% shaded. We're going to probably be living in that 60% zone for most of the day, except when that alignment of the wind in the afternoon and the highest temperatures start going. That prime burning period that was really wide and extended is going to be really narrowed up in the next day or 2 days. That has typically been coming on right at about 2 o'clock, like clockwork. That's when the upslope winds all the way through this whole drainage turn to up valley, up canyon, and then wash into the very top of the drainage here. We're looking here towards Florence Lake here. That is kind of a pinch point topographically. So when those winds do come up, where the bulk of the fire activity is here, those winds are being accelerated through that area. That's why we're having more active burning longer, just because there's better ventilation and the fire's enjoying that better ventilation. Today I'm expecting the fire to move in a more uniform fashion. We're seeing that in the IR on this side of the San Joaquin River. It's just literally moving like a wave. In the last week or two, the fire's been making little runs, spitting out spots. With the high pig living at 90% for a wide part of the day, it was just catching that and moving like that. With 60% and a narrow window, you're going to expect more uniform fire filling in, especially in that pocket, that catcher's mitt that was created by the firing operation. I expect the same thing down in here. We're going to have more of a low and moderate intensity surface fire that will then take advantage of any dead and down, especially in some of the bug kill timber out there. You'll have the isolated torching, maybe some group torching, but as soon as it falls out of alignment, the fire is going to fall right back to the ground and become a surface fire that's going to be really dependent on the RH. So if you just take one principle away about which way your fire is going, just remember that air goes where water flows, and that's where this fire is moving, just following the terrain, following the ventilation. Have a safe shift.
Next, we'll have a roll call and operational assignments with John Goss.
Okay, good morning all. We'll start with the roll call for today's shift. Day operations, McBath. Night operations, Prather. Planning ops for today for Gulia, Stevens, and myself. Up in Branch 20, Via with the trainee apprentice. At Division Mike, we have Naylor with a trainee of Mitchison. Division November, we have Marquez, the trainee of Kennedy. In Papa, we have Hidalgo with the trainee of DeHart. Division Romeo, we have Velasquez. Night Division in PR, we have Knox. In Structure, we have Rose. Branch 2529, Dunham. SUV, Strabecki. And WXZ, Hargui. And then Suppression Repair, we have Wade with a trainee of Borello. Okay, work assignments. We'll start up in Branch 20 today for Division Mike. Again, there's the values at risk out there are the pack station and the private structures there. So if conditions allow, we'll be initiating some fire out there around Edison Lake. And it's right there where the division break is if you're curious exactly where those are at. Also in Division Mike, holding that Kaiser Pass 80 road there. Sounds like we had the spot last night, so they'll continue to hold the road. Division November, a couple of things going on in November today. So Ward Lake is where the current edge of the fire is. So we do still have some time in Florence Lake to button up and finish up any last-minute structure defense there in the Florence Lake area. Also looking at getting some folks back into, if you see the two little schoolhouses here, that's Muir Ranch Trail and Blaney Meadows. So we're also looking to get some folks back in there to start and complete the structure mitigation in those areas. Moving over to Division Papa, the Stump Springs Road, Kaiser Pass Road, still trying to hold that 05 road there to give us just a little bit of time to finish last-minute prep up on top of Kaiser Summit with some hand line to give us some options in there as far as cutting off that just a little bit smaller of a chunk versus falling back to the Kaiser Pass Road. Division R, we continue. There's one little spot we're focusing on right underneath DP 27. Just to get any last little bit of containing those spots fires in there, and mop-up continues. Going down to Branch 25 and 29. So we combined all those divisions down there into two. That's the SUV and the WXZ. So mop-up continues in there, still pulling hose, still getting stuff back into supply to get it refurbished and back out to the line. And suppression repair, definitely, I think the word was prodding. The prodding continues in suppression repair. So lots of heavy equipment and lots of work. South of Shaver, east of Shaver, they're also out at Stump Springs Road. So we're fully engaged with the suppression repair efforts this morning as well. So priorities for today, combination of number one there is Division Mike, continuing to protect those values at risk. And then the secondary priority is November. We're doing the same thing out in the Florence Lake area to protect those values at risk. And then third priority for the day is Division Papa, holding those road systems there to give us some options here for the next couple of days. Have a good shift.
Next is air operations with Ray.
Hey, good morning. Our 220 pretty much stays the same, no changes to it. All aircraft are available at both heli bases. We do have an air attack and a Helco available. We will have some drone operations with the sheriff. They'll be working out of DP 29, Patterson Road. And also Edison is starting to do some more aviation activity. Other than that, end of my report. Thanks.
Again, if we can just refer your attention to the management and control objectives on page 2 of your IEP. Next, we'll have safety with Brian Savage.
Hey, good morning. Brian Savage, Team 5 Safety. A few things want you guys to continue to be heads up while driving on this incident, especially Highway 168. Please don't be in a hurry to go anywhere. Fire activity still has the potential to move big, so ensure you have LCS in place. I know we got some clouds moving in. It's going to be a little cooler. RH is going to be up a little bit, but the fire can still move big, so don't be surprised if it does, and have plans in place when it does. Bears are active out there. Continue to manage your food, your trash, but the bears also like to get in all kinds of stuff, your toothpaste, your foot powders. So if you're spiking out there, especially in Vermilion, be heads up where you're leaving that when you're leaving that stuff, because those bears are active during the day also, and once they get in, they get that stuff, they're going to keep coming back, and they're going to continue to be a problem. This is my last briefing this morning. Another team's coming in. I want to thank everybody for their hard work, their attention to details. We have an excellent safety record going. Hope you guys keep that up. And we have a long fire season left. It's not ending anytime soon. Keep an eye on your folks and take care of them. Thanks.
Communications with Ken Earl.
Good morning. Ken Earl, Communications. I have to admit, I've never thought of foot powder as edible, just for the record. When you change your batteries this morning, do me a favor when you're out there. Look at the bottom of the container that you're pulling the batteries from, and if it has white residue on it, don't use that one. Grab another one and toss those. There's a problem with the Rayovac batteries that we have, and just make sure that you're getting a good battery load in there just to be safe. The other concern, when we lost briefly the C32 repeater yesterday, there was not a very good way to get out. So we had hard-toned Sierra National Forest Tone 5 in that radio load, because at the time the radio load was built, it really covered most of that good area. Well, what we've learned is that where the fire is the most active now, it's going to be best hit by Tone 4. So we're going to look at ways to make tone selectable the Sierra National Forest in the radio loads, or put Sierra National Forest in another group, maybe even by itself. So I know that there's no ideal situations to these things, but we are trying to get a good workaround so that you'll be able to speak from those areas if you need to get a hold of Sierra National Forest. The last point on that is, if you do need to contact them, it should be only for emergency traffic such as an IWI, and we are monitoring that frequency. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Next, we have medical with Jeff.
Good morning, everybody. Jeff Carlin, Medical Unit Leader. So, as was mentioned earlier, transition day. So I want to say, first of all, thank you guys for all the hard work. Newt up there at China Peak and myself really appreciate it. Today, you're going to have 7 line EMTs or medics out there on the line. You have 1 stationed out at China Peak, as well as an ambulance. And then today, during operations, the other ambulance will be out at Drop Point 20. Continue working on your same plan, identifying those resources that can help you out in the case of an emergency. Refer to your 8 line if you haven't seen it in a couple of days. Remember, take command of the scene. Tell me who you are, where you're at, what you got, what you need, and we'll help you out. With that, have a safe shift.
Finance with Teresa Fork.
Good morning. Okay, I want to just remind everyone that on page 26 of the IAP is the instructions for doing finance for the next day or so. There is a new team coming in, and they will make a change in the process. And then on page 41 is the DMOB instruction. Remember, OES people, you need to stop by the Sierra High School and see the OES reps there. Thanks.
Human Resources.
Good morning, HRSP Team 5, Andrea Kabita. Today's going to be the last day that I'll be here. Coming in is Janine Summy. So her contact information will be in the IAP tomorrow. Just from the team and from this incident that we've had, thank you very much for all of the interpersonal and communication that you've had, because we haven't had very many incidents, and we know that this has been a hard season with COVID mitigation, civil unrest, and just the extended fire season. We really appreciate all the effort that you've put into making sure that your communication is good and making sure that you guys are treating each other well and having a safe shift. So thank you. Have a good day.
And agency comments with Kim.
Good morning, Kim Serini Wilson, Agency Administrator Trainee. I just want to thank everybody for your hard work and your continued efforts out there. We appreciate it. And I've been waiting for 4 days to tell my corny joke that I heard. Here it goes. How did the cheeseburger introduce his wife? Meet Patty. Thanks and have a great shift.
Closing comments with Rick Young.
Well, good morning. That's certainly some good news about the weather. I'm getting a slight reprieve in it, and I know you guys have been facing some pretty arduous conditions over the last week and a half. I do want to warn you against complacency with this change in weather. However, there's still a ton of hazards out there, so keep your heads up. We are in a transition today. California Team 14's here, so you're going to see some new faces poking around out on the line. Please take the time to help them gather their situational awareness and catch them up on the plan. And finally, this, as our last operational briefing, I want to thank you all for the hard work out there with 350 miles of perimeter and not quite enough people to cover it all. You guys were able to prioritize your time and, most importantly, be safe out there. So thank you for that. We'll see you soon. Thanks.
All right. That will conclude our briefing this morning. Just some housekeeping items again. Any unassigned resources, if you can find the operation chief in your camp to get an assignment there. Also, the next operational briefing will be 0700 tomorrow. There will be a cooperators meeting in this building at 9 o'clock. With that, on behalf of Team 5, thanks for all your hard work. Stay safe and stay productive. Thank you.